Hi, I'm Maddie Shepard, and this is my introductory speech on Thompson's argument of the defense of abortion. Is abortion ever permissible? Judith Thompson's defense of abortion is an essay outlining 8 different arguments, shielding with analogies to showcase scenarios of pregnancy and life, whether or not abortion is ever permissible. In this essay, a couple of major scenarios will be explained, and Thompson's view will be seen. 3 separate sections of this essay will be examined to show the analogies used in this argument, Thompson's view on whether abortion is permissible, and the effectiveness of the chosen argument style, and whether or not this paper makes a good example of an argumentative essay. The violinist argument is one brought up throughout the essay to explain the relationship between the mother and the child, and how the child relies on a woman for her body. In this example, a famous violinist is tied to another person to use their kidneys to stay alive. A few scenarios were explored with this example and thought through. Thompson's argument discusses how she would explain the morality of each situation when compared to pregnancy. Is abortion permissible in any scenario brought up? The extreme view is a whole argument on what should be done if the life of the baby impedes on the life of the woman. This argument is discussed on the grounds of murder versus the happened result of death. Is there a valid argument of what is right and how Thompson explains the situation? There is also the discussion of third-party individuals in this scenario and how Thompson explains their roles and responsibilities. Basically, in this scenario, it's all other arguments, not life or death. Is abortion permissible when the baby is just an inconvenience on the woman? Is it permissible when she simply just does not want to have to give birth or put her baby up for adoption? Are any of these scenarios allowing morally permissible abortion? The last set of arguments involve all scenarios like this, and they discuss a couple of different ways, and they all center around Thompson's use of the pro-life argument of the right to life, where body autonomy and choice come into play, but mostly the right to life oversees both of these. This section is one that is hard to showcase because permissibility of abortion is being discussed on non-life or death terms. Thompson spends most of these points giving analogies to discuss choice, permission, and responsibility. In all of these arguments, Thompson talks about choice, whether the woman's right to a choice is ever more important than the right to life, whether permission also comes into play. She discusses whether a woman has the right to deny giving birth to a baby because she didn't give permission to get pregnant. Also, responsibility comes into play. She talks about whether the responsibility of having a baby is worth it if the baby is not going to get the right kind of life. Thompson spends the entirety of her essay discussing whether or not abortion is permissible, and throughout these analogies discussed, she analyzes different scenarios where a woman might want to have an abortion. In the end, Thompson fully explains that in extreme situations, abortion is permissible, but it should never be done just because the fetus would be an inconvenience. She explains that carrying a fetus to term is not ideal, but it is a small task to avoid an unnecessary death of the fetus, because the child might not be able to survive outside the womb just yet. All of these arguments Thompson makes are for mid to late term abortions. She states that early abortions are done to something that is not yet human and therefore are always also permissible. The argument style chosen in this essay is one that examines all sides and possibilities. This is a method that is effective in this essay. The reader hears many situations and perspectives on the topic and is shown while the argument is still being debated. There are scenarios where Judith Thompson thinks that abortion is morally allowed and permissible. The best part of this argument style is that it does not attack or force feed the other side. It actually shows the other side and remains rational in points. This style also shows that other people can participate in this discussion. It allows the floor to remain open for other contenders to participate. This is a good thing in arguments because it allows for future discussions to be had and for add-ons to each discussion to be had as well. Thompson does a great job of remaining factual throughout her essay and showcasing different arguments from the point of the other side. This gives a good foundation and opens up for further discussion and analysis. The analogies chosen are also well thought out and explained so that the readers can grasp what is being stated and argued. This is always great in an essay because when put in simple terms, many different types of people can understand the essay, and it's easily digestible for each viewer. This allows for all types of people and all people from all different backgrounds to understand what is being discussed, so that way you can understand the gravity of the argument. When writing an argumentative essay, one needs to present their opinion while remaining factual and level-headed with their presentation. This is all done in Thompson's defense of abortion and is therefore a good example of an argumentative essay. It also shows in this essay that Thompson believes that abortion is morally permissible in certain scenarios, but should only be at extreme caution and not be used when it's just an inconvenience to the woman and her body. This being said, you can see in this essay that Thompson leaves the argument open up for further discussions, but shows that her opinion is that in certain scenarios, abortion is permissible.